Hey folks, welcome to So You Want to Be a Mermaid. I am Raina. Thanks for checking out my YouTube channel. Please like and subscribe, leave a comment, hit the bell if you want to get a notification in your email. Don't hit the bell if you're someone who logs onto YouTube all the time and already gets your notifications, or it'll drive you crazy. Please check us out on patreon.com/RainaMermaid. For as little as $2 a month, you can get exclusive access to all kinds of content, merchandise, program planning stuff, sneak peeks, special stuff. There's some top secret stuff going on there. I can't spoil it, but you should totally check it out. And we take the money that we earn from Patreon and we roll it back into making these videos and making resources and free resources for the community at large to try and just make the mermaid world a little bit better. That's what we do. We enjoy it. We've been here for a long time. In fact, today, the day that I'm recording it, probably not the day that you're seeing it, but the day that I am recording it, is my 11th anniversary since my very first mermaid gig. It's pretty crazy. I was in a bookstore sitting in a inflatable pool with a homemade walking tail. I had my really long hair and I was playing guitar and singing pirate songs. It was pretty hilarious and awesome. And now look at me, I have long hair again. It's only taken me 11 years to grow it out. Speaking of my hair, you may notice that it's changed a little bit. I didn't think it could possibly get any redder, but it did, thanks to Cassandra Colors on Instagram. She's my awesome hairstylist who has been totally saving my hair from the chlorine and getting me to a point where I could start doing fun things with it and having some fun mermaid color. So I really am enjoying this. I'm not the best at styling my hair though, but you know, I'm working on it. It's kind of frizzy at the moment because of the humidity, but I really love the color. I might change it up, but for now I'm gonna keep with the really bright red because it's kind of like an ombre thing going on. I put some really nice pictures in the Facebook group. If you join Raina the Mermaid Sea Fans, you get to see all my really cool behind the scenes, upcoming projects we're gonna be working on, upcoming videos we're gonna have. It's gonna be really cool. So today's video is about the film that we did. Maybe if you're a subscriber already, you've already seen my behind the scenes video about shooting the film Welcome Alon Wasalan, and if you haven't, I will put it in the comments and I will also put it at the end of this video so that it pops up as another video and you can check it out. So I'm not going to get too much into the behind the scenes because we've already really covered that and we have some really cool behind the scenes footage. So what I'm going to talk about today is getting to go to the red carpet and to the premiere of this film, and also our girl Mermaid Victoria, who owns Fluke Boutique and makes amazing accessories and tops and gills and all kinds of cool stuff. She was also featured in a short documentary about female entrepreneurs, and so we went to see hers too. It was really cool. So this was my second time on a red carpet event. It was very different from the first. The first red carpet I went to was for our film Raina, the documentary, and I was totally starstruck. It was amazing. It was just so crazy and I was very overwhelmed. This time I went with a plan and I got some friends and family to come, and my aunt Sandy and I went. I haven't really spoken about my Aunt Sandy here on YouTube, but she has been a huge driving force in my life. Many of you know that I didn't have a relationship with my mom as an adult and that she passed away as well, and Sandy was kind of like a motherly role for me, but also young enough that she was like a cool friend. She was the cool aunt. She's still the cool aunt. She's amazing. Sean and I lived with Sandy when I started my mermaid journey, and she was the very first person to really encourage me and believe in me way back when I worked in that bookstore 11 years ago and did that first gig 11 years ago today. I'm just gonna keep saying that because my mind is blown. So I took my Aunt Sandy and we met up with the cast. Sophia is the other main actress, and then we have Lena and Omar, and the whole story revolves around Sophia's character coming to Nova Scotia as a Syrian refugee, and her character's name is Shadia, and Shadia is trying to assimilate and acclimate into Canadian life, and she's very lonely. She's lost family. She doesn't have her parents anymore. She's living with her aunt and uncle, and everything is new and strange and cold. And she meets a mermaid. So one behind the scenes thing I want to say that I said in the other video is that we filmed this on May 5th and the snow had only just recently melted and I got in the damn water without a wetsuit. It was so cold, but we got the shot, and I have to tell you, it was really satisfying to see that shot on the big screen. It was cool. So at the red carpet, This time they didn't have the red carpet set up like a red carpet. The one that I went to last year was actually a carpet that you walked down to get into the venue, and people took your pictures along the way. It was really cool, really Hollywood. This time they still did all that, but they had the carpet off to the side and it was more like a rug, the red rug. So that was kind of different. Also, the venue was partially outside and it's pretty cold here this time of year. We have frost and it gets pretty cold in the evenings, like 9-10 degrees Celsius. And yeah, we weren't really prepared for it to be outside, so I didn't have a jacket or a sweater or a shawl or anything. My aunt was smart, she came with a shawl. I did have a glass of wine beforehand, so I was feeling a little warmed up. And there was all this really cool food, these food stands that were included in the event, and so you just go up and get whatever food you want. There was a bar, there was Jaguar cars everywhere that they had on display that you could get in, and we got pictures in the Jaguars. Probably the only time I'm ever going to be in Jaguar cars is when I do these red carpet events. It was crazy. So we did that. We got loads of pictures with the cast. We had the nice backdrop and everything, and we went inside and just kind of rubbed elbows with people. It was really cool. There had been promotion that Willem Dafoe and Ellen Page would also be there, and they have actually been in Halifax this week, which is pretty cool. And Ellen has a documentary about environmental racism that's happening through the fest, and then it's going to be in theaters. And we have never met Ellen before, but I have worked with her sister and her mom, so there's this kind of 2 degrees of separation there, so it's kind of interesting to be involved with her family but have never met her, and she's this famous person. And I really like that Ellen, even though she is massively famous, she's incredibly down to earth, and she tries to draw attention to what's going on here in Nova Scotia and the environmental impact of some of the bigger issues that we're facing. She has not forgotten her roots, and she's very, very involved in Canadian politics and Canadian eco-activism, women's rights, LGBTQIA rights, and she always comes back home and advocates for that stuff, so that's really cool. Willem Dafoe was in town for the filming of Lighthouse, which Mermaid Kristen did the stunt consulting on, which I think is hilarious. So they hire a mermaid for this film, and it's an actress. But the actress can't do the mermaid tail, so they hire a stunt person. But the stunt person can do water stuff, but can't really do a mermaid tail either. So they hire us, and we have Kristen, who is stunt actress. Kristen has done stunt for shows like The Mist on Netflix, Mr. D, she's on the Trailer Park Boys. Kristen's done everything, loads of Canadian TV shows Kristen's been in. And so Kristen has to teach the stunt person so that the stunt person can do all the mermaid work for the actors. You think they would just cut out all these middle people and hire somebody who knows what they're doing? But who am I to say? So Willem Dafoe has been hanging around Halifax, hanging around Nova Scotia, hanging out with the locals, eating at the bars, just super nice to the crew. Anybody who meets him is just saying how awesome he is. And he does get a Nova Scotian accent in this film, and he stars alongside Robert Pattinson, and they both have these really funny, almost over-the-top Nova Scotia accents, and it's this black and white film, and it's done by the same group that did The Witch. So I'm really excited to see it. It's going to be really cool. They're ending the film festival in a few days with this big film and with this big party for Willem and Ellen, which is really, really cool. So that's been kind of the buzz and everything, and everybody was hoping they'd be at this red carpet thing, but they weren't. We didn't get to see them. It's too bad, but it was just really neat to still see the kind of buzz it generated in the community. The red carpet's on a weeknight, and we had to get up early the next day, so we stayed out till midnight, chatted with everybody, had some really great chats with the cast, met some really awesome filmmakers and producers and actors, ate tons of good food. There was a charcuterie board, I don't know how to say that. I just call it a meat and cheese board. And it was a boat. It was a boat filled with everything. It was so cool. There's my Canadian for you, a boat. And that was one of my favorite things. I wore my purpley sparkly dress that I had bought in California for MerCon, and it literally just is made of glitter. It was really neat. And we had loads and loads of fun. And then on the weekend, we went to see the film, and that was a little crazy because we were hit by Hurricane Dorian 2 weeks ago, and a crane fell on the building right across from the theater and shut down a street, and this crane toppled. It just crumpled like it was made out of paper. We're really lucky that no lives were lost, no injuries. There was just a lot of property damage during Hurricane Dorian. This is also a bit why our videos have been delayed, because it's just everything has been really hectic and crazy here, and we were preparing for the hurricane, so it was nuts. That's why you weren't getting a lot of updates there. So that street was shut down, and then the hurricane had prevented this event from going on. So the event ended up happening the same day as the films, and traffic was really bad, and we barely made it there ourselves, which is kind of ridiculous. You're the stars of the film and you're rushing in late. My sister brought my nephew, who slept through the whole thing until the end, where he took a massive temper tantrum. Love you, Henry. It was really funny. It was sold out, and sold out to a point that every time we tried to get tickets for another showing so that more family and friends could go see it, we couldn't. So on the one end, it's really great that it's sold out, but on the other, it was super frustrating because we wanted more people to see it. It is going to be on CBC and online, and people who contributed to the Kickstarter are going to get a copy, so there's going to be ways to see it, so don't worry about that. It's just a short film. It's only 8 or 9 minutes. At the end, they dedicated it to Sean's mom, because Sean's mom passed away the morning of all of our outdoor shots and underwater shots. So Sean has actually been with her in the hospital, and then came from that happening to do this. And it was really, really intense day. It was just very foggy, very, very strange day. And we really just pushed through and made the most out of everything we could, and it was really beautiful. They promoted it in the paper. There was a really great review, which was really awesome. This was my first film review. And they used a shot of me eating. There's a scene in the film where I'm trying baklava and tea, and there's all these beautiful shots, beautiful underwater shots, beautiful shots of Shadia and the mermaid, and they use a shot of me literally being like stuffing my face with baklava. And I think I talked about this on the behind the scenes video, but I just kept eating this baklava for this shot and just shoving it in my mouth and trying to get this shot, and we ended up cutting most of the baklava shot out of the film. And I can't eat baklava now because I had so much of it. It was ridiculous. So that was pretty cool just to be in there, and the film is up on IMDb, which is really cool, and Sophia's on there now as well as Shadia and Omar and Lena, which is really cool. And it was just a really great turnout. The film festival is really wonderful. We went earlier this week to go see Victoria's documentary, and the documentaries were amazing. Sean and I bawled through the first one, laughed through lots of them. There was one about an elephant that was in Nova Scotia in the 60s that I never knew about. It was just so cool, and I love that this festival does this, because yes, we have the big name films like Lighthouse, the big Hollywood actors like Willem Dafoe and Ellen Page, but then we have the person who lives down the street who poured their heart and soul into telling the story of this individual, or tracking down the archive footage of this elephant. It was just so cool. It was so cool, and it was really nice to see Victoria on the big screen. She talked about Fluke Boutique, which is such a unique business. To us, it's normal, but to everyone else, when you say like, oh, I'm a professional mermaid, or you say, oh, I make mermaid tops and accessories, people are like, what? So that's a little crazy. We did have a lot of friends and family come out, a few coworkers, and not as many people got to see it as we were hoping because it kept selling out, but it is going to be airing on CBC, so people will get to see it then. But yeah, this is one of these really surreal things where I did this time last year for the documentary, and I never thought I'd be on a red carpet again. When Tim and Nicole, the producer and director, first approached me about doing this film, it was very dependent on if they got funding, and I just was like, oh yeah, I'd be up for that, but I kind of wrote it off. I didn't think it would happen, and now here we are watching it on the big screen. It was really, really cool. We had a famous composer do the music. He's done composing for loads of big shows. That was really cool. He did really beautiful music for it. It was really, really pretty. I did not speak in the film. I did emoting, and I watched a bunch of videos on how to learn to do this, because I do have a bit of an acting background, but it wasn't something I intentionally pursued once I became an adult. So I did musicals and drama camp and stuff like that growing up. But when I became an adult, chronic illness kind of took over my life, and you really have to just pick and choose what you invest your time in. I've always wanted to get back into acting, but I have to be honest with you, all the acting I've done as an adult has been as a result of the mermaid stuff, and I've kind of fallen into it. I've done a few commercials that weren't mermaid related that people who know me have kind of pulled me into, but I never really think of myself as an actor. And I am now. It's kind of crazy. So I studied all this stuff on how to do emoting, and I was really proud of how it came across because I improvised a lot of stuff. I really worked on my eyes and my face and little subtle movements with my body and my hands. And then the underwater stuff was just gorgeous. They rented one of those red cameras and just, it was stunning. I loved it. I wish there was more underwater footage. I mean, we took loads, but it's a short film and it's within constraints, so it can only be so long. So it was really surreal, and everybody laughed at the right spots. Everybody got teary at the right spots, and people cheered when it was over. We got a really nice applause at the end. It was really magical. I feel very lucky and blessed that I get to have these experiences, and I'm really excited for all of you to see Welcome Alanwa Salon. I will let you know when you can. On the Raina the documentary side, a lot of people are asking me when they're gonna see it. Two things kind of happened there. One is that I can't always talk about things because of agreements in place. And the other thing is that we've had some opportunities that we decided to turn down because even though on paper they looked like big opportunities, they wanted to geo-lock the film, which means you would only be able to see it in certain locations in the world on your computer or on TV. And I don't want to do that. I want everyone who's been in the film to be able to watch themselves in it. So there's been a lot of back and forth there, and I know it's really frustrating. It's frustrating for me too, like very much just like to put the thing on my YouTube just so people can finally see it. So we'll see what happens. We've got some more interest from other parties, but it just always seems to come with this caveat that Canadian content, they want to keep it locked in Canada. So I don't know, we'll see what happens. But that's the update on everything so far. That's where we are with things. Sean and I have lots of other videos that we're trying to get out to you. Things have just been really hectic. We are going to Mexico in a few weeks, which is going to be really exciting, and you know we're going to make tons of videos out of that. I'm actually sitting here in my mermaid tail blanket because it's now fall and getting crazy. I've got a lot of health stuff going on. I'll probably do a separate update about that. On my Patreon, I've been taking feedback from my patrons and supporters on what type of videos they want to see next. So we have a few in the hopper that we're working on that I think you're really going to like. So that's everything, my friends. Thank you so much for tuning in. Like and subscribe. Click the bell to get notified. Patreon.com/RainaMermaid. Fast fishes.